Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the UNIQUEFemme podcast. I'm so excited because I have Liz Gilders with me here today, and we have so many beautiful stories for you. But first, I'm going to introduce you. Liz is the creative behind Liz Gilders Photography and Moonstone and Moss, two worlds that mirror her own. Through her photography, she delivers unapologetic, bold, and edgy storytelling, can confirm, while Moonstone and Moss offers a softer, intuitive space for healing, alignment, and transformation. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, I'm so excited. What an honor. And we've been in each other's worlds for quite some time, and I'm excited to share, honestly, a little bit about our journey together. But maybe we start there. Maybe we actually start with how we've come into each other's world and how it's actually led to your maybe photography business, but specifically, I think, Moonstone and Moss, because this is new in your world, this company, but not new.
Yeah, 100%.
and we're going to be talking to you a lot about intuition today, about intuitive gifts, the stigma around them, and what it actually means to have these intuitive gifts. So we invite you to keep an open mind and an open heart as we hold this really beautiful conversation today. Okay. Let's start with how we met, because we actually met through dance.
Yeah, we did. I signed up for one of your sensual dance classes on a whim, out of my comfort zone.
It was so good. It was so much fun.
It was so good. I need to do it again. But it was a whim. And it was just like this beautiful instant connection. Like, I can't even describe it. Like, we met and I was like, she gets me. I just know this already, that she is going to just get me, your energy, everything. I just felt like an instant click. And then it just like transpired very quickly.
It did. You know what? I felt that when we met too. I think you just have such a beautiful presence and you are such a holder of space, and even in just like a short interaction, and I know that you hear this a lot, there's a softness, there's this comfort when you step into Liz's energy. You just feel very, very safe, and so I loved connecting with you, and it was quite instant. I felt the same, and I think your gifts and your uniqueness was very clear to me energetically.
Yeah.
And I think we'll go into that a little bit. But it was so fun.
It was so fun. Oh
We
my
had
gosh.
a great time.
So good.
And so, okay, so let's go into, first I would love to ask you, before we even get started, what, honoring your uniqueness means to you.
Yeah. That's such a loaded question.
Yeah.
So for me, it's been a really long journey to honoring who I am fully. Because for a very, very long time, I wore masks because I felt the need to fit in. I felt this need that to be loved and accepted, and I had to just fit into the cracks. This society said, what others said, that I just couldn't be myself fully.
Right.
And that never got me far. So it was really a postpartum journey that I was like, this isn't working for me. I need to find me and fully me. And I'm still really coming out of that. So for me, I have this beautiful, soft, feminine side, but I also have this very bold, edgy, badass side. And it's been allowing myself to be both, to allow myself that I am both, and that's safe and it's okay. And not everybody's going to get it, but that's all right, because that's who I am. And the people that do get it are the people that are meant to be in my world. And it's been such a beautiful journey. Such a beautiful journey.
And I love that so much, because it's not necessarily choosing one thing that makes you unique. It's actually just honoring all sides of you.
Yeah.
You get to be soft and you get to be edgy. And, I think you're such a perfect example of this, because it's very clear. So can you give an example of a moment in maybe the past year or so where you've, you know, done something that really for you represents you honoring your uniqueness, who you are, like almost an unapologetic act of, this is who I am.
Yeah.
What comes to mind
When I
you think
shaved
of
my
that?
head
Yeah.
was honestly like a coming home.
Yeah.
It was so backstory on shaving my head as I started to lose my hair when I was about 16, 17, and it just kind of slowly, gradually started to fall out. And, and it was all about maintaining. I'd seen every dermatologist there was, doctors, vitamins, steroid shots in my scalp. Nothing was really working. And I kept saying for years, I'm just going to shave my head. I'm just going to shave my head. And I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. And my husband was like, you'll feel so good. And I'm like, no, what are people going to think? And it came back to that. What are people going to think if I actually shave my head?
Mhm.
So then finally, after years of saying it, I just decided, I was like, I'm going to do this for me, for no one else, for me. And I have never felt more empowered. I'm getting chills talking
Me
about it.
too.
It was the most empowering thing I've ever done. It was such a beautiful moment. And it was like this instant feeling of like an ease, like just this ease of I'm doing this for me and I love me. And I wish I did this sooner
Yeah.
because it was a homecoming.
Yeah. Thinking of that moment, it makes me a little bit emotional because I remember that
Yeah.
moment. And maybe spoken the day
Yeah.
before, the day of, and definitely the day of,
Yeah.
definitely the day
Yeah.
after. But it was the shift in energy was
I
instant.
took my power back is
Yeah.
what I did, is I
Mhm.
was, forcing and every morning doing my hair, it was tears trying to hide these balding spots. And then, I would see pictures of myself and I'd be like, I can see my scalp, I can see the thinning, and it didn't feel good. And I'm like, why am I doing this to myself? And now I told myself, you can get wigs if you don't love it. I can't imagine. I love it. It's me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like there was such a sensuality, a
Yeah.
power because your energy was radiant. And I think that this is an invitation for everybody who's listening to this and for us even, like, ask yourself, how much energy are you spending in either
Mhm.
dimming yourself or changing something to either like fit in, or there's something about you that you think should be one way, and so you're spending so much energy trying to fix. I'm putting quotes if you're listening to this, right? Um when you could be putting your energy into honoring.
Yeah.
Stop putting energy into fixing yourself. Put the energy towards honoring yourself,
Oh, yeah.
because the
100%.
ROI on that will be much bigger. You will that's when the magic happens. That's when you become magnetic because you're honoring just who you are, and that's going to look so different for everyone. So in a world where we're constantly comparing social media and the expectations, I mean, especially for women, especially for
Yes.
moms, especially for entrepreneurs, you put all that together.
Yeah.
Um, it's a lot of pressure, and if you just spent half of that energy towards honoring yourself,
There was
your life would change.
a confidence came that I didn't know I had when I shaved
Ooh.
my head.
Mm.
I was just like, "Ooh, this is who she is. Like,
Mhm,
here she
mhm.
is. Here she comes." And it's been life-changing moving forward, honoring that.
How has it let's go into your, like, kind of businesses and how it's kind of it's impacted your businesses, and then maybe we could talk a little bit about, um, your photography business, and then how it's really led you into the energetic and into
Mhm.
your world. So let's go into, once you had that big moment where you're like, "This is a deep honoring of
Yeah.
myself," what shifted in your businesses specifically for them?
Everything. Everything. There was a confidence. I think I was lacking a lot of confidence before I shaved my head in so many areas of my life. And that 100% impacted my photography because I wasn't showing up fully. I wasn't, I was second guessing myself and, "Ooh, is this good enough?" And then when I shaved my head, as I said, it was like that homecoming and this confidence came, and it was like, "I've got this.
Mhm.
Like, I
Mhm.
I can do this." Um, and I seen it in my work. I seen it in how I presented myself to my clients. My clients seen it. They're
Mhm.
like, "Ooh, she's got an edge to her now." And it just grew and it just grew. And then I started looking when I was doing the back end of editing and I'm like, this is good. This
Yes.
is good.
Yes.
And so as my confidence grew, my work grew, you know, my business rapidly grew,
Mhm.
rapidly. Like I
Mhm.
think back and it's like, wow,
Mhm.
it has blown up. And it stemmed from the honoring of myself because people see that, people feel that energy, and that's what has drawn them to me.
I think it's what a beautiful thing to watch somebody who's gonna photograph you because that is so vulnerable, right?
Oh,
You're
100%, yes.
they we all got to watch you um practice what you preach. We got to watch you become so radically yourself.
Yeah.
And you were instantly so magnetic to the point where people were asking me, "Oh my gosh, have you noticed Liz? What's up with her?" I was like, "Maybe I know what's up with her." Right? Because they don't necessarily know that
Yeah.
we're in each other's worlds. And they were just like, "She's just incredible." It was so evident. And again, people, when, if you're a business owner, if you're going into business, it's remembering that people want to be in your energy. Like, that's what's really going to draw them in. You can have the perfect content, you could do all of that. Like, how are you feeling about yourself? Ask yourself that question before you go online, you start making content, because that's where the magic is. And that's where people are like, "Ooh, like there's just something that I want to learn from her, or I want to be
Yeah.
photographed by her, or whatever it is."
And that's what I've preached a lot, in my photography, and what I take so much pride in is I wanna capture your unapologetic self. I wanna
Yes.
capture your energy and your essence and just you as a whole,
Mhm.
right? But I preached it, but I wasn't totally honoring it myself, right? So when I shaved my head and I really truly honored me, I was really able to bring that side to my business because I had done it. I had finally done that piece.
Oh, what a beautiful addition. Because I mean, even before that, you
Yeah.
were holding such beautiful
Yeah.
space for people. But I think, yeah, that again, it's an energetic thing. So, oh, I love that. And okay, so let's go into the intuitive side
Mm.
because, you know, you started. I mean, I'm saying started officially, but we know that the intuition has always been
Yeah.
something as a photographer, and you've kind of gone into your boldness in that side in terms of even like
Yeah.
specifically hair studios
Yes.
and tattoo
Yeah.
artists and things like that. But there was something not necessarily missing, but there was something in you that was pulling
Yeah.
you to the intuitive side. So tell me
Yeah.
a little bit more about that.
So I've always known that I've had this beautiful gift. I've always known that I was intuitive,
Mhm.
but it was learning how to honor it. Again, like how to actually honor it. Um, and for years I was drawn to it.
Mhm.
It's been
Mhm.
it's been so long. So I first was like, maybe I can incorporate that into my photography, which I did, and I still do, and it's magical.
Mhm.
Just magical. But there was something still missing for me. Like, I just felt like I could do so much more. I had so much more to offer, and it was for so long. Moonstone and Moss has been a name that stuck with me for a while. At first, I thought it was for my boudoir side
Mhm.
of my photography
Yeah.
business, but that didn't feel good. There was just something that didn't feel good about it, so I sat with it a little bit longer, and then as I shaved my head and stepped into that really edgy, bold side, I was like, "Ooh, this is my storytelling. This is for me to story tell that edgy side." Still didn't feel good.
Mhm.
It still just wasn't hitting. And then one day, it was like a brick wall, and it was like, okay. I'm meant to offer this as like my intuitive gifts." And I had already gotten my level 1 Reiki, and I at first thought that's just where I was going to stay. I was going to do Reiki just for myself, for my kids, that kind of thing, to fill my space, like my studio with it for my clients. But there was like this, like, no, we're going further. It's time we're going further. And I listened and I'm like, okay, this is what we're doing. I got my level 2 Reiki And it was like this instant, you're going to honor your intuitive gifts.
Mhm.
You're going to honor, you have visions. Those are beautiful gifts. You're going to honor them fully. And so I just declared it. I just fully declared it. And I was like, Moonstone and Moss is for that side of my business. And we're just building it.
Ugh, how beautiful. And I've, been lucky enough to witness your journey this
Mhm.
entire
So
time.
grateful.
And we could touch on that a little bit. Maybe we can go back to that first Reiki session that
Oh,
we did. And
yes.
um but it's been such a beautiful journey to watch because for me it's always been so evident that you're so connected.
Yeah.
And I remember the first time, and if you're listening to this, you're probably in my world and know a little bit about me. But if you don't, I'm also a Reiki practitioner. I pull intuition into my practice and I do a bottom up approach to success for women. So Liz has been a client of mine for quite some time. And so I've been honored to just be part of your entire journey and to see this happen so quickly, to watch both of your businesses
Yeah.
just skyrocket through really, really, I think you're a perfect example of building a business through alignment,
Yeah. Oh,
through
yeah.
honoring your unique gifts while also working hard, of course, but like we've seen, we can talk about that too. It's actually
Yeah.
not by overworking, it's very much
Yeah.
through alignment and play that we get to actually succeed and bring more business in, and maybe we could share that story too. But I remember the first time we did our Reiki session, and I know we talked about this before getting on to make
Yeah.
sure that we
Yeah.
to see if we were going to talk about this. But I remember being able to connect with your energy while doing Reiki quite quickly.
Yeah.
Um, it was like your energy was already open. It was like, oh, I'm already in this world. So I was like, oh wow, there's okay. I could really do quite a lot of energy work. Whereas like if you're going into Reiki and it's a bit new to you, we're gonna take a little bit more
Yeah.
of our time and it's gonna be a little bit it's gonna be maybe gentler. It'll be a different
Yeah.
experience, right? Um, but for you, it was, oh, the energy's just gonna flow, and it was very evident to me that you were already and I'll never forget that session
We'll
because
never
that was
forget
the
it either.
color session, and, I don't know if you wanna tell that story, but
Yeah.
it was a big moment.
So prior to that session, I had tapped in with my guides and I did a card pull for myself and I really sat with myself and I that was a time where I was struggling in my business.
Mhm.
I didn't know if I was on the right path. I wasn't feeling like it was taking off the way that I wanted it to take off. So I had sat and I said to my guides, I really need to see the color orange and yellow today. And that's going to be my sign that things are going to be okay and that I'm on the right path. And then I came to the session, and at the end of the session, you're like, "No, the color orange and yellow really came through." And instant tears, like, it was just this wave of emotion, but it was, like, beautiful confirmation.
Mhm.
Like, it was like and I mean, it's only gone up from here.
Yeah.
Like, that was just and I was like, "Oh, I need to be in your world."
And that's when we started working
Yep.
together, and we've been together ever since. I do remember that session. I remember the tears and it was so loud. It was like orange and yellow. And usually, depending on what chakra we're working on, some colors can come through, especially for the person, the thing I hear most from my clients who are new to Reiki will maybe see like some purple or something like
Mhm.
that when they're on the table. But yeah, it was like every chakra, yellow and orange, yellow and orange. And at the end, like, with my own team, it was like yellow and orange. I was like, what's with yellow and orange?
Yeah.
And yeah, the reaction. It was beautiful confirmation. I think for you, what the message that came through that day was like, go all in.
Yeah.
Like you can go all in. It's
Yeah.
okay. And
Safe to do so.
then it snowballed. Like
Oh.
this was it a year ago?
Yeah.
This was a year ago, and already you've skyrocketed both businesses,
Yeah.
and it's been such a beautiful journey to watch. Yeah.
It's been quick and it's been beautiful.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. Beautiful momentum. So, um, maybe we could talk a little bit about Reiki
Mhm.
and your experiences with Reiki because I also started my Reiki journey, and I was only planning on doing part one because I wanted to do it for myself. I had experienced my brain injury, and I was like, and I had done Reiki before. I had seen a practitioner, um, and I knew how helpful it was. So I want to learn how to do it for myself and my kids, and I found it very helpful for my symptoms and being able to do it myself, but I was
Mhm.
like, I then felt my intuitive gifts then
Yes.
starting to come out during that time. And of course, there's for me, there was some fear that came with that because you almost second guess yourself in a world that doesn't always support our intuitive gifts. I'll say this, my own little statement about intuition. We all have intuition. Like
Yeah.
we all have intuition. Well, we've all had that feeling and then been like, oh, I knew it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew that that was gonna happen, or I knew that that person was probably not the best person for me. Like, we have intuition, and then I strongly believe that we all then have intuitive gifts
Absolutely.
that are very different. We know, we can share what yours is. Mine is very different. I can feel physically what somebody is feeling, and that's been very helpful as a business coach, even in that sense. But for me, Reiki was so helpful, and then once I was able to become certified to be a practitioner,
Yeah.
it still blows my mind in terms
Yeah.
of how powerful it is. But mine started later as an adult.
Yeah.
When did your Reiki journey
13, 14. So I have struggled with mental health
Mhm.
for as long as I can remember. I was diagnosed with severe anxiety when I was 8 years old.
Mm.
Um, so it was my mom. My mom went to a naturopath and like a holistic healer who also offered Reiki, and they're just like, bring her in. Like, let's just see. So my mom brought me there and I never stopped.
Mhm.
Um, and even when I didn't have the intention to do Reiki, it found me. So I remember when I was 19, 20, I moved away from home, going through a really tough time with my mental health, major depression, major anxiety. And my boss was like, have you ever tried Reiki? And I was like, well, yeah. This time I didn't have money, like I didn't have anything to my name. I was saving the money that I did have to buy my dog food, and that was it. So
Mhm.
I was like, I can't afford that. And she's like, you know what? I want to give this to you. I want to
Hmm.
gift it to you.
Mhm.
And I was like, oh, okay. It found me. Reiki found me. The practitioner was like, "I'm just so called to work with you. I want to do this for you a little bit further." And I'm like, okay. And it always showed up when I needed it most. There was never a time in my life that when I needed it, Reiki wasn't there. It just always showed up. So when I had my daughter, I was really trying to figure out my purpose. I was working in the hospital at the time, and this is when I was like, I think I have these really strong gifts that I haven't been honoring. I always like knew they were there, but didn't really know how strong they were,
Mhm.
how gifted I was, I guess you could say.
Mhm.
Um, and I was like, I think I want to do Reiki. And then I'm like, oh no, who am I to do that? Right? Like that,
Mm.
who am I to do it? But it just was always in the back of my head, always in the back of my head. And so finally, when we started working together, it started to get a lot stronger.
Mhm. Mhm.
uh, um, my intuition was getting a lot stronger. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to do level one. I'm going to do it for me. And it just spiraled from there very quickly. And then my gifts got even stronger.
Yes. Oh my gosh, they do. When you do that
Yeah.
training, they absolutely do come.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I felt
it
that as well.
really increased with my level one. And I'm like, whoa, what's happening
Mhm.
here? And it was blowing my mind. But then when I was like, I'm going for my level two, like this is meant for so much more. And they just even got more heightened. And I'm like, okay, this
Yeah,
this beautiful path has led me here.
I love that.
Mhm.
How powerful. And I think, and I know we had talked about this as well, is that the more you honor your
Yeah.
gifts, the more they're going to show up for
Yeah,
you, right? Because if
definitely.
you're like, "No, I don't want them," and we're not gonna kind of listen to those gifts, they're
Yeah.
not gonna continuously show up.
Yeah.
So the more you honor them, it's a practice.
Yeah.
Everything your Reiki is a practice,
Yeah.
your intuition is a practice, and so it's just becoming curious, and I think that that's what you did. You're like, "Okay, I'm having this," and then you kind of you reflect on it and see, how much truth there is to it. And
Yeah.
for you, I remember it was building very, very quickly,
Yeah.
even just throughout the year. But it seems as though these gifts, especially your intuitive ones, have
Yeah.
have always been quite present for you.
Always, always have been there. Then there came like I remember telling my husband, I'm intuitive, and he's like, okay. Mhm.
All right.
He's like, "You got gut feelings." And I'm like, "No, no, I think there's something more." And it was just like, "Oh, maybe there's not.
Mhm.
Maybe this is
Mhm.
just myself
Yep.
making up these things in my head," right? So I'd think it and then I'd push it aside.
Yeah.
And then I'd think it and then I'd push it aside. It's like this can't be a thing, right? But even as a child, I grew up in a home that honored these gifts. My grandpa um can see spirits. He's very, very connected. My mom connects to spirit through her dreams. So I've been in a family that's just been like, honor it. Like it's safe, it's okay.
How beautiful.
Oh, so
Mhm.
very blessed, very lucky. Um, but I was still kind of like society tells you like that's not a thing, right? Like um intuitive psychics, it's kind of all bogus,
Mhm.
right? So I'm like, okay, I'm feeling these things, I'm experiencing these things. I can't explain them, but it can't be. Not
Mhm.
possible.
Mhm.
Um, but finally it was like, what if this is possible?
Mhm.
What if this is what if it is a beautiful gift? So as you said, I got curious
Mhm.
and I started to play with it and it just got stronger and stronger and stronger.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've been able to see it, and I think it's such a good point that you mention here. It's the fear, like, of coming out and saying, "I do have intuitive gifts that
Yeah.
are here to support you. We're just messengers."
Yeah.
You've had the, um, the ability and capacity to be able to hold those gifts and to allow them to further develop, because, again, it is a practice. You have to become curious. But there is a stigma. There is a
Oh,
stigma, and I think it comes from a few things. On the internet, there's a lot of psychics that are like, "I'll tell you exactly what to d," right? There's probably some that unfortunately are kind of playing, we'll say, the system, for lack of a
yes.
better word.
Yeah.
And we've been learned to fear gifts.
Oh,
I mean, our intuition is our feminine power. Right? And so
absolutely.
of course, in a world where that's powerful, that's going to be shut down.
Yeah.
It's going to be taught to be feared
Yeah.
through conditioning and through, societal, I mean, I guess norms, but
Yeah.
also just control. And so we've been really taught to ignore all of our intuition, very much on purpose.
Yeah.
But these intuitive gifts, I mean, these were seen as such powerful healing modalities and tools back in the day, and
Yeah.
obviously now they're not so much. So there is some fears, because we are going to get the
Yeah.
the eye rolls.
Yeah.
And I don't, in the past, even saying I was doing Reiki, it took me a while to be able to share that. And then my intuitive gifts, I mean, for me, just for my own personal choice, I didn't share it as openly because I do more business and other things, but I still pull it in, and
Oh,
I
yeah.
still, my clients know.
Oh,
Um,
so
she's like,
good.
"Yes."
So good.
And so I think it's also honoring your own intuitive gifts in the way that you want,
Yeah.
and I think that you're such a perfect example of that. I think that you've done exactly that. But the fear of coming out to your friends,
Yeah.
it's like it feels like you're coming out to
Yeah.
them as an intuitive. The
Yeah.
fear of the eye rolls and the judgments and of
Yeah.
the like, okay, well, I'm not gonna take you seriously, so I'm not gonna hire you as a business coach or as a
Yeah.
photographer,
Yeah.
whatever. Like, there's some stigma. So let's talk a little bit how you move past that. Like, what was the moment where you were like, I just have to?
It was just like, there's something that I've learned, and as I said earlier, that I wore so many masks my
Yeah.
whole life.
Yeah.
And it got me nowhere.
Mhm.
And so it was really like, this is who I am. And when I shaved my head, period. Yeah.
Period.
Um, when I shaved my head, it was like that homecoming. I finally took my power back.
Yeah.
And this was the same thing.
Yeah.
I am an intuitive. I I can see I have this beautiful gift where visions do come through and I
Mhm.
can see things for people. Um, and for a long time I wouldn't dare say that out loud.
Mhm.
Like I couldn't dare say that. But now it's like this is who I am. And I've been so lucky to hold space for so many. And and each time it's just this confirmation that it's like your
Mhm.
gift.
Mhm.
Your gift is there. And it's so it was just who cares what anybody thinks?
Mhm.
I'm gonna do me. because I've seen in my business, in my photography business alone, even when I started that, I had never picked up a camera before in my life. I was working in the hospital in the OR. When I told my husband I want to become a photographer, he's like, "Do you even know how to use a camera?" And I'm like, "No, I don't."
Yeah.
And even when I came up with that, the eye rolls and the "What are you thinking? What are you
Mhm,
doing?"
mhm.
Right? But I trusted.
Yep.
I trusted that this is the momentum that I needed to take. And so I had the eye rolls and the, "Oh my gosh, she's gonna leave her hospital job for this." Like, but I did it. So when it came to finally just announcing my gifts and Moonstone and Moss and what I was doing, it was like, I've been here before. Different,
Mhm.
but I've been here and look at how
Mm,
it's turned out.
mhm.
So it was scary. Sometimes it's still scary,
Yeah.
but I don't regret it for a minute.
I love so much of what you just said. I'm like, which one do I touch on first? I you know, I think okay, there's one thing. It's always like people are really, really going to celebrate you
Yeah.
when you're really, really, really big, when you've kind of
Yeah.
gotten that perfection. And it's
Yeah.
because we've all been conditioned, and many of us carry this core belief that we
Yeah.
have to be perfect, otherwise we are not worthy. We have to be perfect, otherwise it's corny.
Yeah.
And so I always call it the cringe bridge.
Yes, there it
Right?
is.
You have to go through on the cringe bridge to get to the other side where everything that you've ever dreamt of
Yeah.
is, right? So, I always say to my clients, like, you're maybe you're on the cringe bridge. People might find you cringe, but like they're just watching you cross this really cool bridge so that you can get to these things that you absolutely
Yeah.
love. So like
Yeah.
jump on the cringe bridge
Yeah.
because there's a magical, magical world on the other side where you get to do what you love.
Yeah.
But yes, there's a learning curve, and that's okay. I think unfortunately society has taught us that unless you're perfect and you have the perfect,
Yeah.
it's not really worthy. So I love that you said that and that yeah, people are gonna eye roll, but like, who are you doing it for then?
Yeah.
Them or you?
Exactly.
And then another thing that I would love to normalize and that I think I love what you said was that like sometimes we still get scared. Sometimes you still doubt
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah.
Like sometimes I'll be like, is this real? Because it's like our entire life and our conditioning, our worlds have really taught us that like intuition, gifts, guides, everything that we know to be truth because we felt and experienced over and over and over and over again is not true.
Yeah.
Right. And so it's made up. And so you can't
Coincidences.
see right, there
Yeah.
are no
No,
coincidences, but then when you get we have the privilege and the honor of being in this world, you get to experience that magic
yeah.
over and over, and it serves as such beautiful confirmation, and I'm so grateful for that because, I mean, there are things that have happened in my Reiki room where it blows my mind.
Yeah.
I'm like, "Wow, I didn't know I had these gifts," right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and you can, if you are somebody who's jumping into the intuitive world or you're starting to honor your own gifts and you have these doubts sometimes, I want to normalize the fact that that's probably okay
Yeah.
because we're still not going against what we're moving through this deep rooted conditioning that
Yeah.
we've faced and so I think it's being gentle with yourself and knowing that the confirmation will always come in the best time
Always. Always, always,
and
always.
just trusting the timing and I'm becoming curious. And something I also love about intuition is, and I remember my mentor often saying to me, I'd be like, it's so subtle. Like, it's not this big
Yeah.
flashy thing.
Yeah.
It's very, very subtle. And your intuition sometimes can be very loud, but it can also be very subtle. And I think that that's actually the importance of being in your body
Yes.
because it's really hard to feel those or to connect to our
Yeah.
intuition
Yeah.
when you're living in your head.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So that's where
100%.
nervous system regulation still comes in for intuitives. If you're in this world, nervous system regulation is still going to be key because to access these gifts, I still think that we need to be, feeling safe in our bodies.
I think like almost even more so
Mhm,
because
mhm,
as
mhm.
somebody who has struggled with severe anxiety, when I get in like these really anxious states, everything goes, right?
Yep.
So like learning those tools to calm my nervous system and to get me, feeling safe in my body, that's when I can tap in fully and
Yeah.
feel safe about doing so.
Yes. I think it's so important. And I think that, we're very much similar in the sense that we're very, very intentional. Like if I'm feeling out of body and I'm not gonna do a Reiki session with
Yeah.
the client because it's gonna affect them. And so it's holding ourselves to a high standard. And I know that we share that. And so I think, something that we see in the intuitive world is, and I think that maybe has caused some people to kind of push back, unfortunately, and um, is is that it's all intuition. It's all manifest. It's all energy. It's all right. And the thing is, yes, intuition, like yes, energy, yes, all of that. We are spirit. We are souls living, but we are here, but we are still in human form.
Absolutely.
You're still living a human experience, and therefore it can't just be energy. There's still nervous system regulation. You still have a physical vessel that you're working with. And so that's where I think it's a balanced approach to wellness, to your business, to everything that you're doing. It's not just one way. It's can we use all of these as beautiful, flexible kind of tools?
Yeah.
And I think that that's something that we've talked about a lot, because we share kind of that view. How has that maybe holistic view of body, mind, soul, spirit, all of that, essentially taking care of those are the 4 pillars of regulating your nervous system. How has that helped you maybe in your life and your business in the past year?
Oh, another loaded question.
Yeah, that is a loaded question. That one wasn't on my paper. That one just came through.
Yeah. So, I mean, well, as a mom, that's a full-time job on its own, right?
Yes, it is.
It's a
We love
lot.
it.
We do. But we've got being an entrepreneur. That's a lot. That is a lot. You're wearing so many hats. You got being a mom. You're wearing even more hats, right?
Yep.
So then you're trying to remember to take care of yourself while you're doing all these other things. And it's the nervous system tools. How can I implement these into my just day to day? I think the first course I took was one of your audio.
Yeah. The comeback program for moms. Yeah, it's a self-paced program that I have for moms. That's how I started. Was working with moms with overwhelm.
Yeah. So I was listening to those audios and I was like, oh, I've done EFT tapping in the past. Like I can implement this while I'm waiting for my coffee to brew.
Yeah.
Right? Like I'm doing this anyway. Kiddos are okay. Let's implement that. And then it was, what are other little tools that I can incorporate into things that I'm already doing? Right? It doesn't have to be. I remember saying to you once, when do you have time to like tap in with like spirit? Because I don't have time for this. Like I don't, and it was just like, well, what are you doing already? And it's like, oh, I'm making things so much more complicated than what I need to.
I love that.
So it was really taking a step back and reevaluating what I was doing already and how I could just implement it into that. And that's when motherhood became so much more easier. And I mean, I still have days where I'm like, what am I doing?
Oh, absolutely. We all do. Please don't let anyone tell you that you're never going to feel overwhelmed as a mom.
Yeah.
There's no course that's going to fix that thing.
Yeah. But it was just, things became smoother. I felt like I can handle things smoother. The moments of dysregulation became less because I was able to be like, okay, here's my tools. We can do this really quickly. Loop earplugs.
Yes. The first thing I'll say to moms is, do you have earplugs? Because like back in the day, we were meant to first be living almost collectively. Like we're supposed to be living in community.
Yep.
And our kids were all playing with each other's. We'd probably be meeting in the morning, having coffee by, like the fire. Like I was just in Timmins, and that's what we do. We meet outside. We have coffee by the fire. Our kids are helping raise each other. We're raising our kids together. Like we are doing this so long, but we're outside most of the time.
Right.
And now we're meant to like listen to our kids all the time and while trying to make dinner, while trying to work, while trying to do all these things, we're going, why am I overstimulated? And then we're feeling guilty about it and shame. Put in some earplugs. Do whatever you need to do to survive motherhood because we're not, our society isn't set up for success for us moms. So more self-love for yourself. So thank you
Yeah.
for bringing that up because
Yeah.
that's a good point.
So just implementing those little things into what I was already doing,
Mhm.
not making anything more complicated, completely changed everything because as a mom, I had more patience
Mhm.
and I felt more relaxed, which also allowed my kids to feel more relaxed. Both my kiddos are diagnosed with autism, so they become overstimulated very, very easily. When one comes overstimulated, the other one becomes overstimulated, then mom becomes overstimulated. It's just a cycle. So by me being able to have these tools, I was able to get myself back, and then they would kind of get themselves back to like ground zero. So that helped. But then that also spirals into businesses because I was able to have more calm at home, which allowed me more calm within my business. Because when things are crazy at home, things are crazy in the business world.
Mhm.
It all just comes together, right? Everything comes together. So I became more in touch with my intuition because I was finding these pockets of time without complicating it.
Mhm.
I was, more my nervous system was more supported because I was finding these small pockets of times without making it more complicated.
Mhm.
Everything just ran so smoothly. And
Mhm.
again, things are still crazy, but it's not as crazy. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. Thank you for sharing. I think that that's such a beautiful reminder, I'm sure, for moms, especially
Yeah.
in business is, and I mean for anybody, but taking care of your nervous system and is it's a daily thing, and it's a constant practice in the in between moments. So like Liz just said, you're making your coffee, can you do like 2 rounds of EFT
Yeah.
tapping? That's when I do my neck stretches, my physio kind of
Yeah.
stretches. So I love that. Or every time you get in your car, like what I used to always do is when I would park my car before going to the house,
Mhm.
I would look at my phone, right? I don't know. You're gonna go into your house, it's gonna be chaos. You're
Yeah.
like, "Okay, let me just look at my phone for a second and see if I need to respond to anyone." But, like, also take, like, 1 minute and do a 4-7-8 breathing
Yeah.
technique or connect to spirit or just
Yeah.
call in your guides, like, support me, like, am I feeling anything? Ground yourself. It
Yeah.
takes, like, literally a minute
Yeah.
and then go inside. And if we can practice these things throughout the day without putting the pressure of
Exactly.
let me get up an
Exactly.
hour early to do all of this. Because that's not going to regulate your nerves.
No.
It's the in between. It's the constant coming down. Because our nervous system is meant to go up and down. It's meant to fluctuate, and we call that a flexible nervous system. So, I love that that was helpful for you.
Yeah. Oh,
Um,
so helpful.
yeah, yeah. Oh, I love that. Okay, I had another question.
Yeah.
So in terms of um a few. I'm like, which ones do I go into right now? Oh my goodness. I'm so excited. Let's go into the post that you recently made.
Mm.
I feel like that one was so powerful. So you made, I mean, they all are, but I think that this is an important topic. We have two of them, so that's why I'm like, which one? Let's go into the flow one. Let's go into the taking the week off.
Mm.
So can you explain to us a little bit? And I encourage you. We'll give you Liz's Instagram handle after this to go look at this post, but what that week was like and what it led into,
Yeah.
and what that post said.
So I'm somebody that's more so in my masculine than I am in my feminine. I grew up in a home that was like hustle mentality,
Mhm,
right?
mhm.
Both my parents are entrepreneurs as well. And my dad, like, you're working 24/7 if you want to become successful, right? Which in tune, I've seen him burn out a lot.
Mhm.
But that's the way my mentality worked. So for me, I'm somebody that's always working. Definitely on social media too much, but I'm scared I'm gonna miss something, right?
Yeah.
Um, Always like, how can I make my business better? And finally, I was just like, I need to step back. I need to play. I
Mhm.
need to play. So my husband booked a week off and he said, I don't want you booking anything within this week. And I was like, challenge accepted. Let's do this. So I took a week off, didn't book any sessions in there. And I told myself, you know what? Editing can wait. I was, pretty much caught up. Anyways, emails, we're good. They're gonna be there when I come back. And I showed up on social media only when it felt good.
Mhm.
I put zero pressure on myself. We did beach days. My husband and I got a babysitter for the kids and we did a date day.
Mhm.
We did the splash pad every single morning. We took trips to St. Thomas to do different parks than we would normally did. We just got so intentional with being in our kids' energy.
Mhm.
Um, and I had the biggest week in my business ever,
Mhm.
ever. I'm gonna get emotional even thinking about it. It was insane. And again, I wasn't showing up. The only time I was really showing up on social media was like a snapshot of us at the beach or us at the park. Yet clients were flowing in, payments were flowing in. And I was just like, wow. And it was just like this beautiful reminder that I have built my business. I've done the hard work
Mhm.
and I continue to do the hard work, but I'm allowed to step back and it's going to continue to grow and it's going to run itself.
Mhm.
And now after that, I was just like, this is it. This is a non-negotiable. We're taking steps back when we need to, unapologetically, and without fear that something's going to fall through the cracks or clients are going to come because they're going to. So it was beautiful, and I'm so grateful. And it's only continued to flow from there.
I love that. I think it was beautiful confirmation that when we take time off, when we do something that's fun, we're bringing up our energy and we become even more magnetic. You're giving space for more to come
Yeah.
in. And so again, if you're an entrepreneur and you're listening to this, ask yourself, when's the last time you took even
Yeah.
2, 3, 4 days fully off to play and watch what happens? Your inbox will fill
Yeah.
up way more than if you are hustling and you are burnt
Yeah.
out. It's just the way, and that is there's business strategy, there's also energetics,
Yeah.
and there's also a body-based business strategy. Like it's a holistic approach, and often I find that that's the piece that's missing
Yeah.
because we many of us have this core belief
Yeah.
that we have to struggle to succeed,
Yeah.
right? Or we have to hustle to succeed.
Yeah.
And it's not true. I'm saying it unapologetically. That is not true. Yes, we work hard. Yes, we do the foundational stuff. Yes, we have to go into the masculine and create the plan, but it's not just that. It's taking
Yeah.
constant inspired action while bringing more joy into your life. So if your
Yeah.
business is struggling, ask yourself, how much joy do I have in my life?
Yeah.
And if that's the last priority, move it up.
Yeah.
And I think that you did that week, and I remember chatting and you were like, it's just flowing in,
Yeah.
and again, and we all need that reminder, and even myself, I needed that reminder again because it's so easy to get sucked into the hustle.
Yeah.
Um,
I think there was this mentality. It was like, this is too easy. This is too
mhm.
easy. It shouldn't be this easy, but it does get to be that
It
easy.
does, yeah.
It gets to be that easy. You get to have the joy and the play and the fun while also growing your business and building your business and having money come in and
Mhm,
having new clients come in.
mhm,
Because I look back and times where I'm like, oh my gosh, Cynthia, I'm plateaued. No one's booking. I'm doing all this work. I'm making all the posts. I have this killer offer. What's happening?
mhm,
And it's like, are you burnt out? Well, heck yeah, I'm burnt out. Like, yeah, I'm burnt
mhm,
out. And it's like, bingo, there's your problem.
mhm,
And it's like, oh, so like the hustle mentality is only going to get you so far.
mhm.
So it is hard work, but it's also play. It's like a beautiful balance of it both.
Absolutely. And that's what, that's where I think being either having a coach,
Yeah.
right? Because like every mentor needs a mentor.
Yeah.
Every coach needs a coach. As I'm an EFT tapping practitioner, I have an EFT tapping practitioner. We
Yeah.
all need a resource, right? So, um, and or finding a community of entrepreneurs that are going to remind you
Yes.
because it's so easy to get pulled
Yeah.
into that hustle,
Yeah.
but really it gets to be in flow. And something I'll say is that core belief, and I know you've worked actually on that belief of like I
Huge.
have to struggle
Huge.
to, and we like I feel like it'd be almost impossible to not have that belief.
Yep.
Like I definitely had that belief. Um, that we have to struggle to be worthy of success,
Yeah.
right? And I always give the examples, like even as a teacher, I remember almost this feeling of like I need to look stressed out when I'm walking down the hallway. Otherwise, people are going to think I'm not working hard enough.
Yeah.
And I could see it with everybody else. And it was like, wait, like that's a problem. Like
Yeah.
even if we're not stressed out, we'll find a reason to be stressed out. So we
Yeah.
feel like we're worthy of success. So we
Yeah.
feel like we're working hard enough because we can't possibly bring in money and clients when it's
Yeah.
easy and fun. And that, so many of us hold that belief in our body, and you can't talk your way out of that. That's something I know that you've done through EFT
Yeah.
tapping, and through body-based work. So how do you think that that's helped kind of doing body first, maybe approach to that belief that you had?
For me, it changed everything because there was such deep internal beliefs around it that it took a long time for me to work through those beliefs. So doing the body-based work, like allowed me to really tap into like the core of it and how to rewire those
Yes.
thoughts.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Um, Gosh, I could like talk to you forever about all of this, because we are quite on the same page. And so, um, and then it got to flow. So let me, because something you were talking about was playing with the kids, and it
Yeah.
felt, what came through to me was just like, oh my God, like your inner child got to play with them. And
Mm,
something we've been talking about together a lot is some inner child work and like a deep honoring of your inner
yeah.
child who has very much come out to play.
Yeah.
Last time, Liz was here. Are you okay with my
Yes,
share?
please.
So,
It was so good.
Liz came in for a Reiki. No, it was a strategy session, a business strategy session. And I do body based bottom up approach to success. So we do strategy, but we stop if I recognize that there's a block. We do EFT tapping, we clear it or whatever it is that we need. But there's also some intuition that comes in. Well, there's always something that comes in with Liz because she's very connected. And before she got here, I was like, I had to make tea and it was very random. I was like, who likes chai? Okay. So that's the messages I got. But I was like, there are so many guys that were coming with you and they were a party. Like they were, and we're
Yeah.
saying this and some people might be rolling their eyes.
No,
That's
it was
okay. We love you. We love you if you don't believe in this stuff. It's
Yeah.
totally okay. And but your I was like, she's coming with a party, and I've never experienced that as an intuitive
Yeah.
before, and these were fun guides. I was like, they almost feel like in your childhood imaginary friends,
Mhm.
and remembering that kids are very intuitive. We always say
Super
like, oh, they're
intuitive.
imaginary friends,
So intuitive.
like
Yeah.
dogs, kids. They're
Yeah.
they're especially before the age of 7. They're experiencing different brain waves, and it
Yep.
allows them to be a little more connected, and that's one of the reasons. That's I said, "Oh my god, these are so fun." I feel like they're coming with you,
Yeah.
and so when you got here, I think I shared that,
Yeah.
and then it kind of led into the inner child
Yeah.
work. So do you wanna
Yeah.
kind of talk about your experience with that a little bit? Because somebody else had said that to you, I think, as well.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, first things first, my guides can be pretty sassy sometimes.
Yeah.
They they are so fun. And even when I left that session, I got into my car and I'm like, "That was fun." And, like, you just felt like,
Yeah.
the support and the love from it.
There was a full party,
It
yeah, it
was
was wild.
amazing. But I have been doing an immense amount of it, um, through, like, between us and our sessions and breath work. I've been
Mhm,
really tapping into healing my inner child because there is a lot of trauma,
mhm.
from my childhood, and I've compressed that into a bottle for a very long time, and it was just like, it's time to heal, to let her out to play, to let her
Yes,
shine.
yeah.
So, with that session, we started to talk on really doing a lot with this inner child work. And so I was like, maybe Moonstone and Moss is allowing her to lead. Maybe she is going to come out and play and she's going to really dictate this fun and this energy. And we're going to follow her steps. We're going to let her come and kind of lead the way. And so, as I said, with that week off, like it was really an opportunity to get in my kids' energy and let her play with them. Like it was beautiful.
Mhm.
And it was fun and I felt so free. Like there's a freeing feeling when you let your inner child just
Yeah.
shine.
Mhm.
Um, but even I had a branding session with a beautiful soul, oh my god. And the first thing we said to each other was we started to talk about our inner child, and I'm like, "Oh, okay." Like,
Makes
there's
sense.
never a coincidence, like,
Yeah.
there's never a coincidence. Um, and and now I'm just like, we're honoring her.
Mhm.
I made this beautiful post, and it's just been again, there's this freeing.
Mhm.
There's this new energy.
Mhm.
It's her.
Mhm.
She's, um, and there's just like this relaxation to it. And again, it changes the way you parent. It
Mhm.
changes the way you
Yes.
show up in your business.
Mhm.
There's so many different things by really healing your inner child and really just honoring them and letting them like shine fully.
Yes. Yep.
So it's been, and we're still going with the flow of it.
Mhm.
Really letting her out in Moonstone and Moss and
Mhm.
kind of dictating the path of where we're going.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. I think I got that post when you sent it to me, and I was
Mm.
quite emotional because we had
Mm.
spoken about it, and it was such a beautiful post, and yes, like, talking about the fact that she
Yeah.
was gonna be leaving Moonstone and Moss,
Yeah.
and I think, we're whole when we connect back to our inner child, and we allow them to feel loved, and we recognize that we're in charge of supporting them now,
Yeah.
and,
Yeah.
um we feel whole.
Yeah.
We feel like our whole selves, and it allows us to shine in a different way because,
Yeah.
like you just said, we are allowing them to shine, and
Yeah.
it's a really powerful work. And
Yeah.
and so I think it's also, your business is succeeding at such a high level now is also testament and proof that when we do the work, when we go back into our inner selves, when we do the body-based work,
Yeah.
the breath work and the
Yes.
EFT tapping, all these things, and we come back to deeply just honoring ourselves, like, the rest just kind of
It
happens,
does.
right?
Yeah.
And, so somebody who's maybe let's go into this, somebody who's going into the intuitive world, somebody who says to themselves, "I think I have these gifts,
Yeah.
but I don't know how to share them, or people are gonna judge me," and because there is a lot of fear,
Mhm.
even, there are family members that I would never love them so much, would never
Yeah.
really share this with
Yes.
them,
Yeah.
and my mom knows and my clients know, and some people, but what would you say to this person? What guidance would you give to them?
I think, first, as we said, becoming curious of it,
Mm,
really playing with it,
mm,
allowing yourself to just like flow with it. I
yeah,
don't know. There's just, don't be scared of it. Don't kind of like bottle it up
yeah.
because it'll keep coming back.
Yep, yeah, yeah, yeah.
um, just become curious. And you don't have to share this gift
Mhm.
out loud, right? Like the world doesn't have to fully hear it if you don't want it to.
Exactly,
If that
yeah.
doesn't feel good to you, you don't have to. I remember when I was starting to really kind of like want to share it, all I did was change my photography name to intuitive branding
Mhm,
photographer. And a couple of people were like, I see you. I see that. But I didn't like make this big bold announcement. I just kind of like incorporated it into what I was already doing. I mean, if you're having these, I know for me, I would have these downloads come through and I'd be like, well, I really want to share it with them, but I don't, what if they think I'm crazy? Or what if they
mhm,
think like this is nuts? Because at that point I was like, am I nuts? Like what's happening here? Um, and then I finally got comfortable and I would just say, hey, like you always ask permission, but I'm intuitive and I had this download and would it be okay if I shared it with you? Um, and honestly, I have yet to have somebody be like, "Nope."
yeah, yeah, it's true.
Right? And it's always a message that that individual really needed. Um, and I feel so blessed and grateful that I've come to a point where I feel comfortable and confident enough to share these gifts because it's amazing being able to offer that to others and hold
Mhm,
that space. So I would just say become curious, play, kind of sit in it and you're gonna know. You're gonna have this feeling and knowing of when it's time to like move forward with it
mhm,
and just to not care what anybody else thinks
mhm,
and to just honor you and
mhm.
just do it for you. No one else, just you.
Mhm. Yeah, I love that. Thank you for sharing. And I think the more you honor yourself, the more you find your people,
Yep.
right? And
Oh, yeah.
and yeah, you might lose followers. Yes, you might lose,
Yep.
people that were maybe in your
Yeah.
world or coming into your world within your business or whatever
Yeah.
else it is, but if you're honoring yourself, you're going to find the people that are meant
Yeah.
for you. And I also love what you said, like, if you want it to be really loud, let it be really
Yeah.
loud. And if
Yeah.
you want it to just be your own thing and you don't want to share with anybody, then you don't need to share with anybody.
Yep.
Like, it's doing it in your own unique way, and that
Yeah.
it's applied to your intuition or your gifts as well. Um so if there was something that you could say, was the big lesson for you this year that you would want to share with somebody starting maybe their own
Yeah.
business, what's like the biggest lesson you learned this year that you would, some wisdom that you would want to share to them?
The biggest lesson that I'd say I've learned is hustle is not gonna get you anywhere.
Yeah. Ooh, good one. I like that one. Yeah.
It's not. And that's taken me a long time to learn. The hustle mentality affected my relationship. It affected me as a mom. It affected my business. It affected how I felt about myself. Because I was constantly in this state of burnout and nothing was working for me. I wasn't in like a flow whatsoever. So I was frustrated. I was upset. I was feeling like nothing was working. Um, until I stepped back.
Mhm.
And so reminding yourself that yes, starting a business it's hard work.
Yeah.
It is hard work. There's going to be tears, there's going to be
Oh, yes.
like it's hard work. But it doesn't have to be the hard work to the extent where you're at this burnout,
Yeah.
where you can't do it anymore. It's finding this balance of when can I take a 2-hour stretch and just go all in and do as much work as I can, and then step back and do something that brings us joy.
Yeah.
Right? Really bringing joy into my business has skyrocketed it.
Mhm.
Doing things that feel good and that are fun, and reminding yourself that if you're doing something and it's not feeling good, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
Um, so just play, do the things that feel good, and remind yourself that you're doing it for you and for no one else. No one else has to understand.
Mhm.
They don't have to get it.
Mhm.
It's not for them, it's for you. And if you're waiting for their approval, there's a good chance you might never get it. So don't
Mm.
let that hold you back.
Mm.
The people, I will say this, when I started my photography business, I expected my friends to support me.
Mm.
And it was not my friends, it was strangers. So the people that you're meant to have within your life and your business are going to find you.
Mhm.
Just to like just just have fun. Just have fun with it.
I love that. I love that. I think that that's so important, and again, something that is so hard to, um is hard to do. I would
Yeah.
argue almost like allowing ourselves to take breaks within our first year of our business and to
Yeah.
trust that you're
Yeah.
supported, is one of the hardest things to do as a business
Yeah.
owner, and yes, the people closest to you probably may not get it.
Yeah.
People, and we're designed to not love change. We're
Yeah.
designed, our body is here to keep us safe, not necessarily for self-actualization. Your body's job is to keep you safe. So
Yeah.
it's going to feel very uncomfortable for them if your identity is changing. And so that has nothing to do with you. It just is. And keep going. And eventually they're going to go like, oh, wow, how did you do
Yeah.
that? What happened?
Yeah.
And you're going to go, I've been doing this the whole time, but that's okay. I love you anyways. And we're just going to move
Yeah.
on. So I think, yeah, and then finding the people that see
Yeah.
you and wanna see you.
Yeah, there's another thing that I'll add is, like, I, for a very long time, was afraid to invest in myself.
Mm.
It was a major fear, and this year I went all in. Like,
Mhm.
we have fully invested, and I mean, I've seen full turnaround from that investment.
Mhm.
So finding the people that can support me, finding that group that are doing the same thing in their own unique way, investing in the coach and the mentor. It's something that I was terrified to do, and still I'm like, "Ooh,
Mhm.
do I do it?" But then it's like, yeah, you do. And it can be small little steps, networking groups,
Yes. Good one.
just finding people that are walking the same path as you, because those connections just help you grow as well.
Absolutely. Ugh, and it's an important part of regulating your nervous
Yeah,
system. I think that this has been exactly that because there are 4 pillars, we know body, mind,
yeah,
community, and spirituality, and you need all of those 4 for your business to thrive
yeah,
because you have to thrive
yeah.
for your business to thrive. So, I love you so much. What a beautiful conversation.
You.
I have a feeling this won't be our last conversation on this podcast, but for those who are new to kind of your world, where can they find you?
So Instagram is where I'm most present. I have Liz Gilders photography, and then I also have Moonstone and Moss. You can find
Mhm.
me there.
Yes, please go and take a look. Make sure you connect with Liz. She's based in London, Ontario, just like me. And then, of course, you can find me at Cynthia or coach.cynthia.a. I'm like, what's my thing? Or at the Unique Femme. Thank you. I love
Thank
you
you.
so much. What an honor. And we love you guys so much. And we will see you next time. Bye.